Well, it feels completely normal to me. You buy a $50,000 truck and you take it straight to the car audio shop. It's really Ford who built the truck, and B&O, the people known for sound quality, know what they're doing, right? Well, yeah, and this guy is gonna make it any better? Yes. It's not a question if they can build a nice system or not. It's just not practical to outfit every vehicle off the line with the kind of performance that we expect. Ford's only going to put so much money into a creature comfort like audio. When Ford teams up with a company like Bang & Olufsen to take care of sound, they give them a pretty narrow set of parameters. Probably the most limiting factor is the size of power wire. Copper is expensive. It's a lot cheaper to use active EQ, high sensitivity speakers, noise canceling microphones, and whatnot, but it still comes short for some of us. See, a lot of people don't mind because they haven't heard anything better. Sound takes a lot more concentration to qualify with video. We can easily see the difference between standard and high definition. It's rare we get to isolate one audio source and focus on its qualities. What I'm saying is, if you're going to do it, don't make a lateral move. These OEM systems are pretty good. You can spend a decent amount of money and end up with a different sound, but is it better? To make sure I'm building systems with meaningful improvements, I go for a multifaceted approach. One just doesn't cut it. When building a system, sound deadening gives me a more forgiving acoustical environment. Bigger power wire and amplifiers gives me more performance. DSP gives me control over the signal, and speakers reveal everything that I did. Here's kind of a general overview of a typical system that we would do in a Ford Raptor, addressing all of these aspects. So the whole point is to replace the Bang & Olufsen system, right? Whenever possible, I get a preamp signal. In this case, Nav TV has a Zen module, so I can get a clean fiber optic output right from the truck. It basically acts like a factory amp and lets me do my thing. The best place for equipment on these trucks is on the back wall, so I cut some of the back panel out. I use the piece I cut out as a template to make another template, but out of MDF this time. But this time out of MDF. I do this so I can line everything up, figure out my mounting points, and build from there. use these threaded nutserts to mount to the wall. It's basically a rivet with a threaded hole for machine screws. You just have to drill a hole and rivet it in with this handy drill attachment. I used to have this Dan powered one, and I swear it would give you carpal tunnel after like 3 mounts. But it's worth it.
You're so cool.
Right? I mean, I don't know why I'm not like the coolest person in the world. I mean, like officially. That's the world I get. You get a nice secure mount that won't rust, leak, or rattle. Since I'm there, I do some sound deadening along the back wall. I got to use some of this egg crate foam. I kind of like it, but they're not making it anymore, so, well. Now I have all the mounting worked out, I can line up the equipment, get all the wire dressed up, and hook it up all nice and clean. If you've seen any videos on this channel, you know that we wire amps back to front. Oh my goodness. See, I'm showing it to the camera. Shakes of a Lansdale. Because I do all the work outside the vehicle, I can just take the entire assembly and place it right in the truck. Being pre-wired, the power wire to the front has to be long enough, but not so long that you end up with a bunch of useless scrap. I use a piece of small gauge wire to measure out the distance ahead of time. That's really important on these trucks because you have to run twice as much power wire as usual. Ford has been making their trucks out of aluminum for the last few years, and making a ground straight to the body just doesn't cut it. You have to run a ground along with the power wire to the battery. If you don't, high-performance equipment will really let you know. So I don't hook up the speaker wires at this point. I power up the system and set up the processor. In this case, I'm using the Helix DSP MINI. In most systems, you don't need much more than this. 6 channels cover 2 tweeters, 2 mids, and a subwoofer. DSP is one of those things that needs its own focus, so I'll do something on that later. Right here, I'm setting up crossover points, determining which frequencies go to which channels. After that, I place sine waves through those channels and measure the output of the amp. There's no guesswork. I'm able to see exactly where the equipment distorts. Once I set the gains, the client should be able to listen to whatever volume they want with no problems. After that, I hook up the speaker wires. So far, power and processing are done. So I got a little help from the friendly EAS films department. Hunter and Aaron will sometimes come over and help out when they're between things. You know, squad goals.
Oh,
for
for
doing
audio?
this, right? Yeah.
Oh,
So you can make your American Soundscape debut.
my American Soundscape debut.
Yeah.
No, I'm not supposed to be using roll for
Dude, that's what I use.
that. Oh, is it really?
Yeah. I don't know why they use these box knives.
It's like a pain in the ass.
Since they're covering the doors, I started making plugs for the interior panels. Your door panels have a vapor barrier in between the metal door and the part that you actually see. It's great for vapor, but it still passes sound. I build these plugs out of ABS or aluminum to reinforce the door as a baffle and to isolate the front and back waves of the speaker. If those waves interact, you just get cancellation and lose mid-bass. Yeah, mid-bass you paid for. So we screw the plugs in and cover it all with more sound deadening. At this point, we've put higher performance drivers in and reinforced the door to handle the stress. We've also cut road noise. Doing well. Now how about that bass? For as many subs as I've installed in cars over the years, I really don't build a lot of big bass systems. I try to balance things as much as possible. I'm a musician, I want to hear everything. In this case, we're using the Hertz Mille Legend 8-inch sub. I had a couple of these in my Audi for a few years and it was awesome. It was in a 4th order bandpass and didn't sound anything like what you would expect from a small sub. I start with a profile of the underseat. Fitting this fat little guy under the seat isn't easy. I really don't want to face it forward. I don't have the space to fire it down, but up firing works pretty good. Pretty close. I make sure to internally brace enclosures, particularly this one. Any flex in the box loses sound. It also helps with this weird shape. I cover the enclosure with some black carpet using a little Dan muscle. Wire up the enclosure, seal it with some caulk, and mount up the sub. After the truck is reassembled, all I have left is tuning. I use a process of listening to clicks to set up delays. This is to get all the speakers to deliver the sound to the driver listening position at the same time. lot of people like to enter actual distances into the software. It took some practice, but I find this works better for me. I do some EQ on each speaker, and I use an RTA to see what I'm doing. There's no way I could do this by ear. I can pick out a few things, but nothing beats being able to see exactly what's happening on a 3rd octave scale. Once I have an acceptable curve, I get back in the truck and fine tune it by ear. So we've addressed vehicle acoustics, performance, and signal control. I really think it takes at least 2 of the 3 to be really effective, especially considering the quality of stock systems in cars today. My argument for a comprehensive approach is just to make it worth it. In the end, you're looking to feel something. That something should be like, shouldn't be, you might not need that on your daily commute to work, but wouldn't it be nice? It is. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you liked about this video. If you aren't already, subscribe and let YouTube know that I'm doing a good job. My name is Dan. Take the long way home.